Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be reacting versus responding. Well, I've got about 4 different emails I'm going to go through with you today. But before we get into it, I have a quote that I wrote I want to share with you. And it says, "It's always better to carefully contemplate all of the possible outcomes and consequences of your actions and then respond after careful consideration while in a peaceful and relaxed state. When you allow yourself to become hijacked by your fear, neurotic tendencies, paranoia, worry, or doubt, and then react while in an irrationally emotional state, your actions and words will have undesired consequences that are the exact opposite of what you are trying to accomplish. It's always better to sleep on something than to impatiently react and make things worse without thinking through the consequences of your actions and words." So let's go ahead and jump right into the first guy's email. Now this guy I did 2 different phone sessions with. Like the first session, he just talked and talked and talked. He'd ask me a question and I'd start giving him the answer, and then I'd get like mid-sentence and then he'd interrupt me and start talking about something else because he was just so in his head. He was in such a fearful state, so he really didn't get a lot out of it. And I stopped him several times, like, man, if you want to get something out of this phone session, you got to actually listen to what I'm saying to and digest it and take it all in. But he was so freaked out about the whole thing and the fact that he'd gotten basically stuck in friend zone, and his girlfriend wanted some time away, whereas just a few months before she was totally crazy about him and they were having great passionate sex. But it's like the second phone session, it was like a completely different dude. He was calm, he was relaxed, he actually listened to me when I said things, and so it looks like things are starting to progress in the right direction, and he's backed off enough and he's given this woman enough space to where she's starting to miss him, and he's no longer pushing her away, but actually she's starting to come back. But he's still not completely there, and so let's go through his email here. He says, "Hey Coach, we had a few phone sessions and a couple of email coaching sessions about myself and my ex. I completely screwed up our first phone session and listened in the second one. When we had our last phone session, my ex was contacting me once every 4 to 5 days and would talk to me through text for a day or so and then enter another 4 or 5 days of silence, and then this would repeat. After asking her out 2 times and getting turned down, you told me to ask her another time and then start backing off the 3 or 4 texts and then scale them down to one-word answers like great, thanks, awesome, etc., and attempt to back away a bit further from her. Before I could initiate this, she contacted me and has begun texting me every single day now, and over the weekend she said, 'I miss you, and I wish I could see you tonight,' in back-to-back texts. Well, I invited her over after she said that, and she said, 'No, that's okay. I have cramps and I don't feel well.' It's definitely a difference when it's like 4 or 5 days without silence, and now she's texting you every day telling you she misses you, but she says she's not feeling well." He says, "So I answered with, 'Okay, no problem. Let me know when your schedule frees up or you feel better and we can get together then. I'd love to see you.'" God, I swear I've heard that somewhere. He listened to what I told him and he phrased it the exact same way. Good fucking job. He says the next day she didn't sing a single text at all, and it wasn't until 4 p.m. the following day that she texted me again and began acting normal again. It's amazing. The quickest way to regain someone's attention or to get their attention is to remove yours. And that's basically what this guy has done. It's kind of like a balance of power, almost like a teeter-totter type of effect, where it's like if you lean too far forward, the teeter-totter obviously flips, you go up in the air and the other person goes down to the ground. And then if you just continue leaning forward, you totally, the teeter-totter is out of balance, but if you lean back, then it starts to balance out. And there has to be that yin and yang balance in every relationship, because otherwise one of the people is putting too much or putting more effort in the relationship than the other one is, and the balance of power is flipped, and then usually at some point the other person, it's like we as human beings, we want somebody that we respect, where there's mutual respect and mutual admiration, where you look up to each other. It's not that one person is controlling the other one or dominating the other one. It's that both people mutually respect one another. But as far as masculine and feminine energy, because feminine energy tends to be all about bonding, love, connection, women always, in normal, healthy relationships, and all the relationships that I've had over the years, are going to do 70, 80, 90% of the calling, texting, pursuing, because that's just what feminine energy is all about. And as men, it's our job to make the dates and create the fun-filled romantic opportunities for sex to happen by being decisive and being direct and getting right to the point. So he says, I've just found out that I'm moving to a new school to work tomorrow and I won't see her every day now. My question is, do I still back off into the one-liner text to make her feel this new distance my job has created, or do I keep entertaining these things sparingly, empty and confusing? I want to see yous, but with no commitment. Well, this will actually, now that she's going to be seeing you less at school, you're not calling her, you're not texting her, and at this point, 100% of the texts are initiated by her, which is a good thing. And so the power is starting to flip back, and her attraction level is starting to grow. And the reason I say that is because she's texting you more. If she didn't give a fuck about you, you wouldn't hear from her. But the bottom line is she's reaching out to you more and more, and you try to give her one more opportunity to make something happen, and then she says, oh, I'm not feeling well. And then you're like, great, give me a call when you feel better and we'll plan something then. But when she reaches out again, you should assume that she feels better and now she wants to plan something. And you got to get right to the point. Hey, it's great to hear from you. So what'd you figure out with your schedule? When are you free to get together? I'd love to see you. That's called being direct, being decisive, and getting right to the point. Because otherwise, if you just go back and forth in this teeter-totter, or this little tennis game of BS text that don't really get anywhere, you're going to end up having a conversation and sending 10 to 15 texts back and forth, and you're still not going to see her. And now you're just like a texting buddy. You're not getting anywhere doing that. So he says, my gut feeling is that she's coming back slowly by hinting about wishing she could be where I am, but I almost want her to either make up her mind or just leave. And as men, it's like you want to know where you stand, because masculine energy is being decisive. Are you in or you out? Are you with me or you not? Do you want me or you don't want me? And you got to learn to not get all caught up in that neurotic mental circle jerk that us guys tend to get involved in. You got to learn to be patient, and you got to learn to be centered, and you got to learn to not let this shit bother you. And you've obviously done a really good job of backing off and chilling out and responding to her most of the time. So, like I said, what I would do is next time she reaches out to you, hey, great to hear from you. No matter what she says, hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. What did you figure out with your schedule? When are you free to get together? You got to get right into the point. Don't start with, if she asks you a question, you just respond back with the answer. You just go, hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. What did you figure out with your schedule? When are you free to get together? Because that's what you told her. And that's part of being decisive, is being the leader. She said she'll get back to you when she figures out her schedule or when she feels better. Well, you got to stick to that. That's your purpose. That's your mission. That was your intent, and you were very clear about that. And so if the next time she reaches out to you, you just kind of go around in circles and talking about nothing and you never get anywhere, you're not being decisive the next time around. A man goes right for what he wants. She said that she wants to see you and she misses you. Great. When are you free to get together? Oh, I'm not feeling real well. Okay, well, when you feel better, get in touch with me and we'll plan something then. The phone is used for setting dates. It's for setting appointments. Anybody that's in sales know this. You might spend a little bit of time to create rapport and comfort on the phone, but once that's established, it's all about setting dates with that person and getting together with them, because if you just sit and chit-chat on the phone, you're going to waste your valuable time. And as salespeople, they want to spend their time with prospects who are ready, willing, and able to buy. Because there's a lot of tire kickers out there. There's a lot of people that waste your time. And in a lot of ways, this girl is wasting your time because you're trying to set dates, and then she says no, she can't, or whatever. So I would continue to do nothing. Next time you hear from her, hey, so when are you free to get together? I'd love to see you. Just that should be your first response to her, no matter what she says to you. Hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? And then she still gives you the some other BS and say, great. When you figure it out, get in touch with me. And then don't ask her anymore. And if she says, I miss you, I'd love to see you, then you say, great, when are you free to get together? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel good. Then say, great, give me a call when you figure it out. And then next time she reaches out to you, give her the same one-word answers in text. And she'll either make plans or she'll stop calling. But you're seeing that her texting is becoming more and more frequent in the future. So you hear all the sirens in the background. Isn't that great? So that's what I would do if I were you. I'd wait for her to get back to you. Give her one more opportunity where you actually bring up getting together. And after that, don't ever try to plan anything with her unless she says she wants to see you. She could say, I miss you. Just say, hey, I miss you too. But that's it. Don't say anything. Don't bring it up. She'll either bring up getting together or she'll stop calling. And either way, you'll know for sure whether or not she really means what she says. One other thing is that in a previous email, this guy had mentioned that she had gone out on a few dates with somebody else. So she may be dating this other guy, and maybe she's starting to realize he's weak, or she doesn't feel the connection or the bond that she had with you. And that's why she's still reaching out, but she won't make plans because she's trying to determine whether or not it's going to go anywhere with this other guy. And so she's kind of keeping you warm on the back burner a little bit. So let's move into the second email. And this is from another guy that I've coached a few times, and he's done several email coaching requests, which I've answered those in email because this guy writes really great emails. And he really brings up some great points. He says, hey, Coach, I hope you're feeling awesome today. I'm writing you to conclude my weekly soap opera on your video newsletters. It surprised me a lot when you told me I was right to have doubts due to my girlfriend's previous history of cheating. And I did a video that I answered one of his other emails the other day about cheating. Can you ever really trust a cheater? So you should check that out if you want to see what we talked about last time. He says, I thought I was weak to have some thoughts in the first place, and you were spot on with your guess how I handled situations when other girls were in the picture. Either I rejected the one-on-one dates with girls outright, or I brought my girl along when I met them. Yeah, because what was basically going on is that she had some guy that she works with that supposedly lives in her building, and he says, hey, might stop by and knock on your door and invite you down for a cup of coffee. And she says, well, I'm going to be spending the weekend with my boyfriend. And he kind of alluded to the fact that, well, then all three of us will go together. But she also, it kind of sounded like if the boyfriend wasn't there, that she'd go and have coffee one-on-one. And obviously that wouldn't be cool. Because the way this guy was responded to other women being in the picture, and I told him to use this in an explanation to her, was that, hey, if a woman wants to meet me one-on-one for coffee, I'm not going to do it. Either you're going to be there or we're not going to go, meaning his girlfriend. So he says, a leader leads by example and not by force, as you have often said. Actually, I got that from Sun Tzu. He said, a leader leads by example, not by force. About 2,000 years ago. He says, however, I expected a lot of testing the moment I brought up the issue, and my guess was right. I reminded her how I handled situations like that and explained that I expect her to behave the same way. Of course, she still had objections to that, and I told her these are my standards and I wouldn't accept anything less. She said we don't live in a Muslim society, and she thinks it's suffocating and scary at the same time. I actively listened as she went into detail and blew the wind of her arguments one by one afterwards. I told her it's okay to meet other men as long as it doesn't resemble a one-on-one date, and obviously she can meet a group of men when it's part of a social event. That calmed her down, and she said she's not even slightly interested in going on one-on-one dates with other men, and I should remove my stick out of my ass because she won't be jealous if I talk to other women. And she mentioned a television shoot when I refused to dance tightly with bikini girls because of her. Further, it's just an issue of respect. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you don't want them to think or imagine in any way that there's potentially something going on with you and that other woman. That's why your girlfriend's either going to be there or it's going to be in a group setting. It's just mutual respect. He says further, she clarified that she didn't sleep with any of the men she was meeting when she was with her ex. He always knew when she had dates, and it was only the relationship. It was the only relationship where she did it because her ex was treating her like shit. I guess she has a different definition of cheating. So in other words, in her mind, if you're treating me like shit, it's okay to cheat. And that's what we're talking about. It's like the goalposts seem to get moved in those kind of instances. He says it made me feel slightly better. After that, she brought up the issue again, and I don't really think before I speak in front of her colleagues. We met two of her colleagues at the weekend, and she berated me in front of her colleagues to talk more sophisticated in front of her fancy banker colleagues, it is. He says, I also mentioned that I hacked into computer networks when I was 13, and she said I would be perceived as a criminal in addition to a gambler, and she doesn't want to be associated with that, because this guy plays poker professionally, and that's what he does for a living. It's his purpose, it's his mission, it's who he is. He was that before he met her, and he's always going to be that. Whether or not he stays with her, it's irrelevant. That's his purpose, and that's what he loves to do. And this is part of, like, when a woman senses weakness, she's going to test that. And she's basically saying, hey, conform to the way I think you should be. And this guy's very strong-willed, and he's basically going to be like, no, fuck that. That's not who I am. He says, I said that I'd rather be authentic and disliked than pretending to be someone else, and I don't really care. Good for you, dude. That's what a man is all about. And that's the right fucking thing to say. Good fucking job. Pat yourself in the back. She told me that she doesn't want me to meet her colleagues anymore, which I didn't take well. I told her if she can't accept who I am, then she can get lost, and they are all adults and seemed entertained. Yeah, it's because they respect him, because obviously he's got a hot girlfriend, and he doesn't give a fuck what other people think. That is the embodiment of masculine energy. That's the embodiment of being who you are and living your truth. And if people don't accept it, well, they can take a flying fucking roll in a donut. Seriously. Well, I adapted my harshness and told her playfully the next time I can pretend to have a stick up my ass and practice my British accent. That's a fucking great comeback. Good fucking job. Love's playful and fun. It's not serious. And in your own way, in that playful way, you're letting her know that she's kind of being fucking ridiculous. And what she's requesting of you is inappropriate. He says, after I complied to her request, and I reminded her that she promised to adapt her behavior as well. She told me to stop the drama and that I do it too often, which he tends to. But that's his personality. He says, I told her that it means that it is important to be me. I told her again that I can't make the relationship work by myself, and I want to feel appreciated and loved when I fulfill her needs. Otherwise, I need to start to look for someone else who is willing to. You're setting your boundaries. You're saying, hey, this is who I am. Take it or fucking leave it. Sometimes you have to do that. After that, she was as sweet as cotton candy, meaning she became totally feminine, totally sexy, totally submissive. It's like she was testing your boundaries. She's trying to see what she could fucking get away with. And you were like, And she started purring like a little kitten. And she asked me again how she can show me how much she cares. Well, blowjob would be nice right now. That'd be great with a happy finish and keep the change. She promised to behave better in the future, try to be a better communicator, and show me her appreciation through her actions. I told her that words are cheap before. Talk is cheap is what we typically say. He says, all in all, the events described above to help me feel much better since I found out that she isn't as devious as I thought she is. What bothers me a little bit is that I always need to threaten to end the relationship or find someone else to get her to listen and adapt her behavior, since I fuck myself too if I marry her and then divorce her later. That's why you should date for several years. I wouldn't be in any hurry to get married to this girl. Make her work for it. Make her get to the point where she's like, if we don't get married, I'm fucking out of here. And if you're not ready to get married, then you gotta let her walk. But at the end of the day, that's how you're setting your boundaries, and it's working for you. And you're letting her know that this is not fucking cool. Her behavior's not cool. And if she doesn't change it, you're happy to move on with your life. And if that's what works with her, then that's what works with her. Because otherwise, she acts like a total fucking brat, and she'll try to walk all over you, because she's obviously a very strong-willed and successful woman. And that's what I talk about. When you want a high-achieving, successful woman who's hot and beautiful and she knows it, she ain't going to put up with weak fucking bullshit from any man. She'll be like, fuck you, I can get a dozen of you. All I have to do is pick up my phone and call, and there's 10 guys that will want to be with me. Because they have that attitude. Because it's the truth. Because they know they can. I mean, think about it. You date a supermodel or a beauty queen. They have guys throwing their dicks at her all the fucking time. She can have sex any fucking time she wants. So he says, thanks for your help and keep up the good work. Well, you're doing really good, man. So that's all I can really say about that. Let's move on to the third email. This guy also, I've done some email coaching with this guy, and here's another one of his emails that I'm doing email coaching for. He says, hey Corey, this is the MMA firefighter chef guy. I emailed you once before, and you featured my email in one of your videos, and I really appreciate that. So I thought I would bite the bullet and continue paying for some coaching because I think I am in dire need. I have been an avid fan of your material and videos, giving me the nudge to finally get some actual coaching. I've read your book about 1.5 times, and I must say that just by reading it, that much has transformed me tremendously, but I am still fucking up with smaller things and having a hard time with certain aspects of my life. 10 to 15 times, bro. You got to read it 10 to 15 times to get to know this stuff so well you don't have to think about it anymore. Because whether you're a man or a woman watching this, there are so many things that the other person can throw at you that will throw you off balance. And what my book really teaches, it teaches human interaction and sex, dating, relationships, in life. It teaches you the proper role of masculine and feminine energy. And men and women both have masculine and feminine energy. It's just like when a woman goes to work and she's high achieving. She's in her masculine energy. You look at like an Eva Longoria, who's very feminine, very sexy, but she's also a high achiever. You look at a Hillary Clinton. She's also a very high achiever, but she tends to act more like a dude. Hence why she's married to a man who tends to act more like a pussy than a man. That's the way it is. You can see it. She tends to be more in her masculine. You look at Eva Longoria, she's very feminine, very sexy, but she also will go toe-to-toe with any man and not lose her femininity in the process, which that's the problem that Hillary has. She has a hard time acting like a woman and remaining feminine when she participates in the masculine world of achieving. So he says, just to give you an insight on the tremendous change I have been noticing, I have been going to this one bar for some time since I started reading your material, and I've been noticing something very different, especially in the last week. More girls were approaching me, and 2 of them were 21 that worked there, and one was an older lady which I had a nice conversation with, but she wasn't available. I actually overheard the table next to me talking about me, and one of the girls was like, he is clearly the alpha male of this place. See, people know the leader. Men and women both. They know the alpha male when he walks in. Just like when a lion walks into with all the other lions there, they all submit. They all lower their heads. Same thing with gorillas. When the silverback comes around, all of them lower their heads, even the other males. It's just a sign of respect and deference to the dominant alpha male. And that's why, I don't know if you've watched the video that I did, Body Language That Attracts Women. That is dominant alpha body language. Men and women can both embody that, and you're like, wow, you can just sense it. You can feel it. It's how you carry yourself. It's the expressions on your face. It's the tone of your voice. It's the I don't give a fuck attitude, what you think about me. He says, I almost shat in my pants when I heard that. Doesn't surprise you one bit, dude. That's your fucking birthright, bro. He says, another girl started buttoning my shirt up for me toward the end of the night. That's when you can say, it's okay, you can unbutton it, you can massage my chest. I know you want to touch me. I know you like me. She's touching you, she likes you, dude. My issue, I will be completely honest with you, is I don't think I am completely centered. That's okay, dude, it's a fucking process. Just try to get a little bit better every day. Just like a professional NFL athlete or NBA basketball player or Major League Baseball player or a hockey league player. They're just trying to get a little bit better each day. And just watch the interviews after the games. Before, during, and after games, they all say the same shit. I'm just trying to get a little bit better each day. And as you're applying these things, just trying to get a little bit better each day. You've already improved dramatically just by reading the book and a little bit that you've applied. Just try to get better. That's all you can do. That's what being a man's all about, dude. He says, I lost my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my favorite pets over the course of 4 months this year, and it has taken a tremendous toll. It's not that those particular events took a tremendous toll on you. It's the meanings that you assigned them obviously weren't very positive. At the end of the day, the amount of days that you got left in this planet is getting shorter. The amount of days that you have been on this planet is getting longer. So the only thing you really can do is find a way to enjoy your life. Find a way to enjoy the fact that you're out having a great time and girls are like all noticing you. That's very powerful and it feels very good. It feels natural to you. Life is a gift. It's very short. It's very fleeting. Your family members and your pets that are no longer here on this plane of existence, be grateful for the memories that you have with them. Their time has come to an end, but you're still here. That means you still have the opportunity to make your life what you want it to be. And all of your ancestors would love to see you live a more exciting, more fulfilled, more fun, and more successful life than they are. That's what everybody wants for their kids and the future generations. They want them to be more successful and more happier than they were. So honor their memory by enjoying yourself and being grateful for the time that you got to spend with them. Because you never know. When your time's up, it's fucking up. But until it's up, you cannot be harmed. You will be protected. There will be an energy around you and will keep you safe. So be grateful and enjoy your life and keep focusing on your mission and your purpose. He says, regardless, I found myself after the one, and I know from what you wrote that it is the worst thing that you can do, but I find myself constantly drawn to her like a moth to the fucking flame. She was the bartender I talked about in the other email I sent you, and she's living with some guy for 6 years. She's unavailable. That's an unhealthy addiction. Because deep down inside, your model world says, I don't deserve to have what I really want. And because you don't think you deserve to have what you really want, you get involved and you get hung up on a woman who's unavailable. She's going to be... That's the interesting thing. Women that are in relationships that are taken, they have a non-hungry vibe, they're content. They're getting laid, usually. They're content because they're in a relationship. They're getting all of their needs met. And they're going to be more attractive a lot of times than just a regular single woman, unless, of course, she completely owns her center and she's comfortable in her own skin and she's happy and she's fulfilled. But it's a mistake to get hung up on someone like this because she simply is unavailable. And if you keep focusing on her, you're ignoring the fact that these girls at the other table are going, oh, he's definitely the alpha male. Or the girl that's coming over unbuttoning or buttoning up your shirt. You got to pay attention. It's like bird in hand versus a bird in the bush. Well, a bird in the hand's a hell of a lot better. You got to keep circulating in life, because if you just stay focused on what you can't have, you're not going to circulate. You're not going to move about life and meet those other women that are exactly what you want. They're ready, willing, and able. Keep moving, dude. I know it's tough and I know it's hard. I've got a couple women that I know I see all fucking time, and I would love to date both of them, but both of them are very happy in their relationships. It's not and I have to see them several times a week, and it sucks because it's like we have chemistry, we flirt with one another, we tease one another, and we enjoy each other's friendship. But at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do about it because they are taken. You just got to keep circulating. You got to keep moving. It's just a numbers game. You can't get hung up or focused on what's unavailable. You'll waste your life. He says, there was an obvious mutual attraction, possible projection from me, probably, and now I believe she's pissed off because of all the new attention I am receiving for those other girls. Who fucking cares? She lives with her boyfriend. She's missing out. Maybe that'll cause her to resolve, if she's not happy in the relationship, it'll cause her to resolve that situation. But you can't fucking wait on her, dude. Should I still be going to this bar, and how should I be interacting with her? Just treat her like another woman. She's just another possibility. At the end of the day, she has a boyfriend, so it doesn't matter. And enjoy her attention that she's giving you, and focus on all these other women who are single and available. Don't focus on what you can't have. He says, this is nuts. I'm 36 and asking for how I should be talking to a chick But I need to because I have fucked up this shit so much in life and pined for people that were not available that I just wasted my life for bullshit. Exactly. Now you're talking. I also have this, dare I say it, fear of dating because I see. That's interesting. So you fear dating, that's what a lot of people do. They get hung up on what's not available or what doesn't want them in order to avoid a relationship altogether. And you're obviously, just by your own admission right there, that's what you've been doing. You get hung up on this bartender who's got a boyfriend, so you avoid the dating issue altogether. He says, because I sometimes have a hard time getting fucking hard. In other words, you have a hard time getting lead in your pencil. Who cares? And we talked about that in another video. He says, it is completely emasculating and is nearly driving me into a state of complete dismay. Well, then go see a fucking doctor and go get a blue pill. Then you can pop, when you think you're going to get lucky, pop the blue pill, get your flesh rocket so hard it'll cut diamonds, and you're ready to rock, bro. He says, it doesn't happen all the time, but I'm going to see a doctor about it, but I think I just need to get centered with shit. Yep. When you get to a place where you really don't care, because having sex and having an orgasm is really just about letting go. And you're pretty fucking uptight, dude. You should just let go and enjoy the sensations of a woman touching you all over and doing whatever she wants to your body. So that's what I would do if I were you. And so that's the last email that I got for you today. So if you have a question or a challenge or a situation that you'd like to get my help with personally, the quickest way is by going to my website, clicking the products tab, and either booking phone, Skype, or email coaching. And I will talk to you soon.